Hello and welcome. We're the team at Vendor Society and we're sharing bite-sized vendor tips and ideas in our interview series. I'm Dani Thompson, the Senior Marketing Manager at Vendor Society and eCommerce Nurse, and I'm here today with Carina McLeod, our founder and CEO. On this episode, we're going to be talking about direct fulfillment. What is it? When is it beneficial? How can vendors use it to their advantage? I'm going to be going through 5 rapid questions about direct fulfillment with Carina, who has tons of experience with this from her time working at Amazon and working with our clients at eCommerce Nurse. So hi, Carina.
Hi, Dani.
All right. First up, what do we mean when we say direct fulfillment?
So direct fulfillment, it's basically another name for dropship, where the vendor, instead of the vendor sending inventory into Amazon's warehouse and storing it within their warehouse until the customer places an order, the vendor will send the product directly to the customer. So as soon as an order code goes through, the vendor's informed and then they ship that product out to the customer directly from the vendor warehouse.
What are the top benefits of direct fulfillment? Are there certain product types that this option works better for?
Yeah, definitely. Direct fulfillment is great for heavy, bulky items where actually they cost a lot to ship. So if you think about it, if you're sending a product into Amazon's warehouse, you've got one shipping cost, and then you're sending it back out to the customer, that's another shipping cost. So direct fulfillment allows you to streamline that, and then effectively you're only paying one shipping cost to the customer, which you can imagine if you're sending out like a treadmill, for example, that can be quite expensive. It's also great for lower selling items where Amazon doesn't want to necessarily have the tail end of the products in their warehouse that might be slower sellers. Instead, Amazon can focus on having the fast moving goods within their warehouse and those slower sellers being sold on direct fulfillment.
Does Amazon actually encourage this option for vendors, or is it better from Amazon's perspective to have regular Amazon fulfillment for vendors?
Amazon will encourage it for certain products. So as I mentioned, treadmills is a great example where this becomes, Amazon doesn't want to be having stock that large sitting in with their warehouse because, of course, it takes up space. We've also seen it even with really heavy items like weight plates. Of course, they don't want to be handling all of those items. So there's certain product categories that Amazon would encourage. But also, as I mentioned, the slower moving items, it doesn't benefit Amazon. Amazon wants to have the biggest selection available to their customers. But that comes at a cost if they're having to have all that inventory in their fulfillment center. So it does actually benefit Amazon in many ways. And so the vendor manager would look at that on a case-by-case basis to really see whether or not certain products make more sense to be sold via direct fulfillment than others.
Would vendors use direct fulfillment as well as sending inventory into Amazon's warehouse? Can you do the two?
Yeah, definitely. We see many vendors have products set up and actually have products set up with 2 different costs. So, for example, lower cost if they're sending product into Amazon's warehouse, and they might have a higher cost for direct fulfillment if that vendor is having to pay for the shipment, because, of course, they're also having to pick and pack individual items. It really depends, because sometimes the cost of the shipping via direct fulfillment will be a cost to the vendor, or sometimes it will be a cost that Amazon pays. So it's really important when you are setting up direct fulfillment that you're very clear on who's paying for the cost of shipping. And so, yeah, we see many of products be set up on the 2. And it's a great contingency. Let's say you run out of stock of an item that Amazon has in their warehouse. It will then fall onto direct fulfillment. So it's never going to go out of stock. The only thing to note with direct fulfillment is that the shipping time is a bit longer. So let's say, for example, you've got an item in stock via Amazon's warehouse, it might have a next day delivery. Whereas direct fulfillment, it will be approximately around 3 to 5 days. Unless you as a vendor have been working with Amazon for a long time on direct fulfillment and shown Amazon that you can actually offer next day delivery, then of course you can show that you've got a faster shipping time.
How can vendors go down this route if it's something that interests them and set up direct fulfillment?
Yeah, so if you've got vendor manager, you're dealing with an AVS, then of course that's an easier conversation to be had because you're having that regular communication with Amazon, and so you can engage in that conversation and ask Amazon for access to that, because it's just an additional feature within your Vendor Central account. If you don't have access to direct fulfillment and you don't have a vendor manager, it's very much reaching out over vendor support, raising a case and asking for access to direct fulfillment.
Great.
Just to add to that, it doesn't necessarily mean if you do ask for it, you will automatically get access to it. It might be that Amazon say that this isn't something that they can offer. So just be aware of that. But sometimes I always say persistence pays off. If you don't have a vendor manager, keep requesting it, and it should then be escalated internally, and someone will then review that and decide whether or not that feature should be available to your vendor account.
Great. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, Carina.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Vendor Society interview series by eCommerce Nurse. We're a boutique agency specializing in account management, marketing and consulting for both vendors and sellers on Amazon. For more interviews, roundtable blogs and information about all of our services, visit vendorsociety.com or ecommercenurse.com.